We're now going to look at a Google Calendar that automatically gets created within a Google Classroom that you have in existence already. So I'm going to go into my this test 2 classroom that I've created. So the main page brings me to the stream of my classroom, but if I go to the classwork tab, you'll see here at the top, I have a link that says Google Calendar right there. So I can use that link to open a new tab and dump me into my Google Calendar, already looking at the view of my test 2 calendar. So if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see test 2 is the calendar that is checked off as the one that I'm looking at on my screen, and something comes up here that's in that same green color that my test calendar is in. If I go over here to the settings, there are the colors for my calendar, so that's what this one is, in that green color. Oops, didn't mean to click on that. So as you can see, some things are already populated, already showing up in this calendar. If I go back up here to my classwork page of my test 2 classroom, the things that are on here that I've created as I've gone along and used the create button to make my assignments or my materials or other things that I am sharing with my class show up here in my classwork, and these items get automatically added to my Google Calendar. So if I take a look, I'll have to go backwards into my calendar here to see some of these things. But this chapter 6 study guide that I posted it on February 26th, and it says that it is due on February 28th at 7:30 a.m. So if I go into the Google Calendar and I come back up here, come back to February 28th, you'll see that the event automatically appeared here in my Google Calendar for that test 2 Google Classroom that I'm in. So all I would have to do then as a student is click on the link here if I were trying to open it from my calendar and seeing that that assignment was coming up as something that was being due. When I click on it, it brings me right into the instructions for that assignment or material or whatever it was that was shared in classroom. I, as a student, can click right into that item from my Google Calendar. It tells me when it is due and gives me the link to get into that piece directly from the calendar. So that is a little bit about how the calendar automatically will add things for you from your Google Classroom. So it is not an additional step that you would have to take. Any assignments or anything that you are creating and making due or posting within Google Classroom automatically get added to that Google Calendar that the students are already a part of because they are a part of that class. Now I want to go back into this my calendar view here in this tab, and I'm going to come down, and since I am a teacher of this class, when I go over here to my dots next to the name of this calendar, I can go into the settings and sharing items from this calendar. So when I click on this, here's where I want to show you where you can see who has access to view this calendar and who has access to edit or make changes to the calendar. So if I scroll down here a little bit, you'll see that this automatically comes up with the sharing for specific people. My name is on here first because I am the one who first created this class. And under that, you'll see test 2, which is the name of my class. And then Google gave it an automatic number letter combination unique to this calendar specifically. But this is showing you that any student subscribed to this classroom, any student enrolled in this classroom, in this class, will be able to see all of these events. Under that, you'll see any of the Test 2 teachers. So if I had a co-teacher teaching this class with me, somebody else who was another teacher part of this Google Classroom, that person would also be able to make changes and manage the sharing of this. If I wanted to add additional people, if I had a specific email address or a specific person that I wanted to add to this calendar, you could click on here and add them to either see events or be able to make changes to the events. But the other piece that I wanted to show you, if we scroll all the way down here to almost the bottom of the page, you'll find here this public address in iCal format, a link that comes up. If we click on that and copy this link, this is what you would share with parents so that they can subscribe to the calendar and be able to view events that are added to this calendar. They would not be able to change events or edit events, but they would be able to see the events. So even if they do not have a CHCLC account, this is why it would work for parents who want to see what their students' assignments, what their child's assignments are. They would be able to use this in order to subscribe to the calendar and see what's going on in that class. So if I go back to my list of calendars, you'll see for parents, if they were subscribed to your Google Classroom calendar or to their students' calendars, it would show up here under other calendars. And like I have the one here for my daughter, if I go to today, you'll see that events will show up that my daughter's school has added to her school calendar for me to see as well. So again, these are things that I can simply look at. It's not something that I can change or edit or really do anything with, except add it to another calendar that I have if I wanted to duplicate the event into another calendar that I already am part of. So again, that would be in the Test 2 if I went into my classroom calendars, settings, and sharing. And down here at the bottom is the link that you could either put on your e-board or put somewhere, email out to parents in your class to share with them how they could subscribe to the classroom's calendar and see when assignments are coming up and other things. You can remove a calendar if you are no longer using a Google Classroom and it is showing up still in your list. This is where you could unsubscribe or delete the calendar out of your list so that you don't end up with 900 of them like I have in my list of Google calendars. The other thing that I wanted to share with you related to the classroom Google calendars is that I am able to add events. So like I said, events will automatically be added that I have put in my classwork, created directly into my classroom in the classwork page. But I can also, if I wanted to remind students that the test was coming up on Friday, if I chose to add an additional event to the calendar, I can click here and just say, remember to study for Friday's test. Notice that it's showing up on my Test 2 calendar. I can give it a time, or if I go in here to more options, make it an all-day event instead of an event that has a specific time associated with it. But when I hit save here, this will then get applied to all the students' calendars automatically. So whoever is enrolled already in that class will see this event appear on their calendar as well. So there are two different ways that you can add events or add items to this calendar: automatically through Google Classroom, or you can go into the calendar itself and add other pieces that aren't necessarily assignments that you've put into Classroom, but are things that you want the students to have access to or reminders of on their calendars.